welcome to another cost of living crisis video with myself, Jack. I don't think I introduced myself on any video. It's probably like the 200th video we've made, the first time I've introduced myself. And with Will.
Thank you, Jack. Good to be here.
You always say thank you, Jack, so I guess that kind of introduces me. Not that any of that is important. What is important is what is going on in the world right now. The cost of living crisis that is getting worse and worse by the minute, it seems. It is.
A lot of things are beginning to move in that direction. We've passed April the 1st, so we've got bills and so forth coming downstream. It is getting to the place that we knew it was going to get to, which sounds depressing, but I think part of the conversation that we're having now is we're offering you certainly ways of trying to address that. Well, which has to be good.
There's something that people ask everybody at House of Bread all the time is, how is it going? Are you busy? And I always say, I don't know how anybody else answers it, but I always say, the good thing is we're busy. Yeah. The bad thing is we're busy. We don't want to be busy. We don't want to be here. We don't want to need to help anybody. But we are busy at the moment. A lot of people are coming to us, Will, and generally these videos are aimed at people who might not be in Stafford or might not want to come down to the cafe or engage at House of Bread at a distance, or think, actually, I don't need House of Bread. I can go to where they would signpost me anyway. But I thought in this video we'd describe what happens if you were to come along to Cafe 43 or to phone up and talk to somebody at House of Bread, because not to confuse anybody, but House of Bread is the umbrella, Cafe 43 is our frontline drop-in centre. So Will, let's go with Cafe 43 first. Somebody comes into Cafe 43, they have a home, they have, let's say, a family, they have a job, but their energy prices have gone up £1,000 this year. They can see a few months down the line they're going to struggle. They're on it, they're ahead of the game, they're asking for advice. What happens?
Okay, well, that's really interesting. The first thing is, as they come into the cafe, they will see a regular cafe. A regular cafe,
sure.
But with House of Bread. What we hope to do is pick them up at the door, and if it's something they want to chat to straight away, then the likelihood is they may have already met one of our caseworkers who will be in an orange t-shirt, or I might say, grab a seat, can I get you a tea or coffee? I'll go and get you one of our volunteers. So we have around 6 caseworkers at the moment, which is fantastic. They're all volunteers, and they come over and they start having that dialogue of conversation with you. I think what I'm really impressed by those volunteers is that the way that they will meet you where you are on your journey.
For sure.
In other words, they are astute enough to know the level that they can go to, and how much detail to go into, because what we don't want to do is scare the individual off. So it's quality, not quantity, in terms of dialogue. It's exploring, and if you are somebody who has the capacity to take advice and move on your own steam, then that's great. If you're somebody further down the scale that needs more support, then we're in a position to take that on. And I think that's really, really one of the real attributes of those volunteers.
Well, they can tailor. I mean, they've experienced every form of casework, from the extreme to the simple. Here's some advice, away you go. And it's great that they are equipped to, like you say, change that per person. We tailor our casework support to the individual, so it's not a blanket come in,
one size fits all.
You fit into this box. It very much is case by case, which is a fantastic advantage and makes people feel very, very valued and very, very supported.
And the other thing as well is we work with other agencies that we are the sort of the grouting between agency and the individual, the friend in some cases. So we'll look at things and we'll decide, or the caseworkers they'll decide on whether it can be achieved internally in terms of the provision and the knowledge, or whether we need an outside agency.
And whether they need to be advocating for that person.
And sometimes they might need to be the advocate, as you say. On the other hand, somebody might just say, that's great, so these are the people I contact.
So Will, that's what happens at Cafe 43, and we couldn't do that without the awesome volunteers It's intense. They
and that's why it
provide.
Works. That's why it's brilliant. It
That's-
works, and people know that when people come in, they go, "Gosh, this person's giving their time to me." That is a fantastic thing. It really is.
It really is fantastic. Very, very humbling. If somebody calls
Yes.
our number, calls the House of Bread number,
Got options
they've
now.
got options. Whether anybody presses the right one
That's true.
is up for debate. But you press, I think it's option 2, and you get through to the lady who wrangles all those caseworkers, Alex, our casework manager, and she will chat to people and basically be that Cafe 43 front line to that individual on the phone.
It's a question of triaging, basically, as the calls come in, so they can be proportioned out or whatever the need is. So the assessment is made, and that's a clearinghouse to start with.
And again, it could be, they call up within 5 minutes. We've solved their problem.
Yeah.
We've advised them to go somewhere else. We've advised them to leave it with us, or within 3 weeks there's still engagement and it's disseminated out to a caseworker. So again, there's levels there, but it's important to get that initial
And I think
engagement.
the other thing all the caseworkers are good at is really also making sure we're not setting people up to fail. So we're not saying we can fix you quickly or we can fix you permanently. We're going to do our level best to make the changes that are required, but we are very realistic in terms of where the problems sit, because a lot of other agencies, and this is a fact, they're under huge pressure, and there's no good us setting people up to fail if we know that the DWP, for example, and there are many other agencies that we're working with, are getting to a situation of being overwhelmed. That's not helpful to sort of imply that they're being slack. We would never diss another agency because we know they're under a lot of pressure. It's more about working in partnership.
And we're not perfect.
Indeed,
So
to err is human. I don't know who said that.
a human. There you go. So when you engage with House of Bread, when you come along to Cafe 43, we are really here as the first point of, hey, look, where do I go? If we can help you ourselves, we'll do it. If we can't, we will go with you, or we will point you in the right place. We don't know what kind of support we can offer you because we haven't done it with you yet. And we will try and do everything.
And if we don't know the answer, we'll find somebody who does. We are very persistent in that.
So if you're unsure, or you say, "Oh, I don't know what you guys do," or "I don't know if you can do it," just ask. And if we can't, like Will said, we will find somebody who can. And that's the luxury we have as an independent charity. We can turn on a sixpence. We can go, "Hey, actually, we're going to not do this. We've got this person who needs this support." As intense or as light touch as it needs to be, but that's essentially what we do at House of Bread, and we use Cafe 43 as the front line. And that's very general. We haven't gone into any specifics because, like I said, it's case by case. So there's no point in giving you a specific one because that might not be relevant to you. But we might drop everything to be relevant to you, if that makes sense. That's House
Get in
of Bread.
touch. Don't sit there. We've said it so many times. Don't sit there and suffer. Get in touch. Speak to us if that's who you want to reach out to, and we are more than happy to
support you. And all of that is encompassed in the word support. That's what we do. We support you if you need it. Right, Will, that's a behemoth covered in just over 5 minutes or 7 minutes, or however long this has gone on for, however much I cut out. Thank you very much for rifling through that with me.
That's all right. Good to be here.
Lovely. Stop talking. As we say goodbye, there is just time for me to say, don't forget to like and share these videos. I know this one's very House of Bread specific, but it's worth it. Might give somebody a kick up the who knows where to go, hey, I'm going to contact my local one. Really does make a difference. If you want to know more about how we can achieve this and fundraising and other fun stuff that goes on at House of Bread, or what we're up to, Hob News, that goes out on Sundays around about 4 o'clock. But until then, we shall see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.